Another Tuesday has come and gone, and what a night it was on the hardwood in Alamance County. Conference play back in full swing, and we had some not-so-close games, some nail-biters, and some thrilling finishes. It's time for your midweek recap here on WBAG Sports. Let's get off the bench.
It's time to get off the bench with WBAG Sports, Alamance County's premier sports coverage since 1947.
Welcome in to another edition of WBAG Sports Off the Bench, presented to you by the good people at For All Occasions. They're located 3266 South Church Street in Burlington, and they've got everything you need to make all of your occasions extra special. Men, I'm talking to you. I know that holiday season feels like it's over, but we are less than a month away from Valentine's Day, another stressful time for you. Let For All Occasions take that stress out of your shopping. We've got an example of what they can do for you on Valentine's Day right here. One of their pre-packaged gift packs they set up for us so we could show it off to the people. Got some chocolates on the bottom, a bottle of white wine, some candies there in the middle, and then in the back, a beautiful ceramic tumbler to hold all of your cold or hot drinks. Once again, that's For All Occasions. They sent that over to us. They take good care of us here at WBAG Sports. Make sure you tell them we sent you by 3266 South Church Street in Burlington. Let them take the stress out of your Valentine's Day this year. Once again, this is a midweek update here in the Alamance County high school basketball scene. We had an exciting Tuesday night. We're going to do things a little differently today. We'll start by just running through the games, and then we'll go over the conference standings and how those have changed through the midweek. Games have had some shakeups on both sides. Be a little bit interesting to take a dive into those after we get through with the games. Let's start with the game that was just boys only. Southeast Alamance traveled to Graham and got themselves a big win, 81-77 over the Red Devils. The Stallions moved to 5-0 in conference play, sitting at first all by themselves right now. A 20-plus point lead going into the half for this one, but you got to respect the fight. You got to respect the effort by the Red Devils in the second half. They were able to outscore the Stallions and get it down to an 81-77 game before it finished. Stu Edwards led the way for Southeast, 25 points on 79% shooting from the field. He was 11 of 14 on his night. A brilliant performance from the lead guard of the Stallions. 2 assists and 2 steals to go along with it. Donnie Fairley had 17 points and 12 rebounds on the night, so it seems like his hand is okay, starting to heal up, something we were keeping an eye on here, but it does seem he's able to play through whatever may be ailing him at the moment. Graham did have 4 players in double figures. Again, I mentioned the hustle in the second half. You can't knock the effort there. They did not lay down. They did not give up. Ladario Johnson led the way with 23 points, 15 rebounds. Michael Woods had 10 points along with Malachi Ware and DJ Farrell as well. Now, the Red Devils do drop to 1-4 in conference play, but we know they're a young bunch. They're trying to figure things out, and they're a well-coached ball team that could definitely sneak up on some teams here later on in conference play. Southeast has Person on Friday, and Graham travels to Eastern Alamance for their final conference games of the week. Next up is Western at Cummings Alamance. We're back to a girls and boys breakdown here. In the girls game, the Lady Cavs got themselves a huge victory at home, 57-55. That moves them to 2-2 in conference play and actually third place by themselves. You'll see that when the standings pop up here in just a few minutes. They're ahead of the Warriors in conference play at this point. Nice bounce back for the Lady Cavs after a loss to Eastern Alamance. However, the Warriors are reeling at the moment. The third straight loss for them, all of them in conference play. Despite Emery Webster, Kiana Alexander, and Reagan Averett all scoring in double figures for the Warriors, it still was not enough. It's going to be an uphill battle for this Lady Warriors team for the rest of the season. They're now 1-3 and in 5th place in conference play. We know they have aspirations to get back to the playoffs. They have the talent, they have the depth, but it's going to be a matter of can they put it all together at the right time. Something to keep an eye on as we move through this conference play. On the boys' side, the Warriors picked up a win 50-35 over Cummings, and they moved to 5-6 overall, 3-2 in conference play. They find themselves now in a tie for third place with the Williams Bulldogs. Cummings is still winless in conference play. They dropped to 2-8 overall on the year, and they're still searching for some offense down in Burlington for the Cavaliers. Just one game so far this season, they've scored over 60 points. They failed to do so again on Tuesday night. Moving on, the Southern Alamance versus Person matchup. The Lady Rockets get their first conference win of the season, 60-48 over the Lady Patriots. The first time scoring 60 or more since game 1 of the season for the Lady Rockets when they scored 70, but it's their second best offensive output, and it comes in a much-needed conference game. Been some ups and downs for this young Person team so far this year. They've managed to score 70, they've managed to score 60, but they've also been held to just 8 at a certain point in this season. So it's been up and downs, it's been ebbs and flows for a young Lady Rocket team, but they do have the ability to sneak up on you, so you can't take them lightly in conference play as well. Lady Pats dropped to 1-3 on the season, or 1-3 in conference play, 2-8 on the season overall. They also have had ebbs and flows, some ups and downs throughout the season, but they are a very young team who is looking more towards the future right now than the rest of this season. They're trying to go out there and get their footing underneath them so that they can understand what's coming for next year and the years to come with the Southern Alamance team. In the boys' game, it was close, but the Rockets do hold on to win by 3, 51-48 over the Patriots. A defensive game this one was, and that's the way the Rockets like to play it. They only have one loss on the season when they hold their opponent to under 50 points. Another performance in which they did so here tonight, or on Tuesday night, results in a win. Southern drops to 1-4 in conference play as offense plagued them yet again. We know they have the capabilities of getting going on offense. They're 3-0 this season when they score 70 plus, but they just have to find a way to put it all together and be consistent throughout each game and each performance so that they can get that offense going the way that they need it to go for them to click on all cylinders. Moving on to the final game of Tuesday night, Williams traveled to Eastern Alamance. The Lady Eagles got themselves another big win, moving to 5-0 in conference play. And when you see the standings, you'll see they are in first right now, but that's because Southeast, who's also undefeated, has only played 4 conference games. But they do sit atop the rankings. Another strong defensive performance from this Lady Eagles team, not allowing 10 points in any quarter throughout the game, held Williams to single digits in each quarter for this one. They were led by Rihanna Gregory with 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals. Aaliyah Trollinger added 13 points of her own to go along with 8 other players who also scored for the Lady Eagles. 10 total members of that roster were able to contribute points on Tuesday night. If Southeast gets by Person on Friday, it sets up a battle on January 20th of undefeated teams in conference play, as Eastern has Graham on Friday, so the girls team will have the night off. If Southeast is able to get by Person, next Tuesday night, January 20th, will be an incredible matchup between two teams who are fighting for the top of this conference here. The final month of this season could get a little bit rocky for the Lady Bulldogs. They've got some tough games coming up, but the future, much like Southern Alamance, they're even younger than the Lady Patriots. The future for this Bulldogs team is very bright. They've got no seniors, only 4 juniors, so they're very young. They're have a strong leader in Madison Harris at the point guard position. So Cedeno can shoot the ball from really anywhere on the court. London Harris is long. Malia Scott is able to score the ball very well. She's also a defensive presence in the paint. So the future is bright for Coach Jason Cheek, who is a proven coach in this conference. The Bulldogs are a very well-coached team. They'll be fine going forward, but the last month of this season could get a little bit hairy for them. In the boys' game, it was touted as the marquee matchup of the night, as 2 9-2 teams overall, both 3-1 in the conference coming into Tuesday night, went to battle for the right to call themselves second place all by themselves. 4 quarters were not enough to do it in this one. We went into overtime. The Eagles were able to edge out an 85-84 victory over the Bulldogs, led by an explosive 38-point performance from sophomore Mason Murphy of the Eagles, including the game-winning and one to put the Eagles out in front by one with 5 seconds left in overtime. He was able to convert the free throw as well. Ice in his veins for Mason Murphy all night long as Eastern picked up their 10th win of the year. Guard play from Kamal Smith was a huge difference for the Eagles as well. He had 14 points, but he almost always makes the right decision. He doesn't turn the ball over very much, and he's an extension of Coach Parrish Walker on that court, so I know that that's something he can be grateful for, to have a guy like Smith on the floor, especially in those late game situations when it comes down to a tie ball game, needing to get the ball to your playmakers to convert and score and go ahead, and that's exactly what Smith was able to do late in the fourth quarter and then again in overtime, getting it to Murphy and letting him go to work and handle his business down in the paint. Now, it would be a disservice to not talk about the performance of the Bulldogs as well. It was an 85-84 game, hard fought from the jump. There were moments throughout this one that looked like Williams was actually going to maybe pull away and take the lead and hold on to it here in that game. But 5 Bulldogs scored in double figures, led by 19 and 7 from Colby Elliott, who I think maybe would get my vote for Conference Player of the Year if I had one. I think Colby Elliott's performances in each game this season, he came in averaging 24 points on per game on the year, scored just under that, but did have 7 rebounds and 4 assists to go along with his performance that night, on Tuesday night. And he does so each and every time out for the Bulldogs. If not the Conference Player of the Year, in my opinion, the most consistent player in the conference every night out. Bubba Sims had 15 and 7 to go along with Elliott, but he fouled out late in the third quarter, about 25 seconds to go in quarter number 3. Bubba Sims fouled out, and he was missed heavily down the stretch of this one. Freshman starter Robert Davis also fouled out late in the game, which meant Williams was down 2 starters going to the end of the fourth quarter and into overtime, and I think that kind of played a factor and helped Eastern pull away there in the extra session. The second straight loss for the Bulldogs, second straight overtime loss, second straight conference loss for a team that is not, I'm not going to compare them to a team that's falling off or reeling or say that they're struggling right now, because they're playing incredible basketball. They just had a couple things not break their way the last 2 games. This is a team to keep an eye on as the last month of this conference schedule unfolds. They're going to be right there at the top when it's all said and done. They will not go quietly, will the Bulldogs. They've got another game with the Eagles. They've got another game with the Stallions upcoming this season, so they're not out of it yet. And again, they're a team that wants to be at the top of that conference, and they're more than poised to do so. That wraps up the Tuesday night schedule for Alamance County here. So I told you we'd now break into the conference standings, how Tuesday night impacted those. Let's take a look at it, starting with the girls' standings. There you can see them on the screen. As I mentioned, Eastern Alamance out in front at 5-0, just also undefeated the Stallions, but they have not played 5 games. Once again, they've played Graham, and Graham does not have a girls team. So first and second, Southeast and Eastern Alamance, both undefeated in conference play. Southeast undefeated overall on the season, 15-0. You can see there, Eastern 11-2. Just a couple slip-ups, but have won their last 8 games. A surprising name there in third place. I mentioned the Lady Cavs of Cummings. They are, in my opinion, the most improved team in the conference so far this season. They have 2 conference wins, 2 conference losses, 8 wins overall on the season. That outmatches their entire total from last year. They did not win a single game in their conference last year. They've already won 2 here this season, so I think it's easy to understand why they may get the nod for the most improved ladies team here in the conference. In fourth place, you see the Person Lady Rockets, 1-2 overall in conference play, 4-9 on the year. They're coming off of a victory as well. There in fifth place, you see the Reeling Warriors that we were talking about, 1-3 in conference play, 7-4 overall on the year, but are battling a 3-game losing streak. Lost the wrong 3 as well. They have all been conference games. Southern sits in 6th place, 1-3 overall in conference, 3-10 overall on the year. I think I misquoted their overall record earlier, so there it is. You can see it, 3-10 on the season. And then bringing up the rear, Williams at 0-4, still desperately searching for that first conference win. But we talked about some of the youth they are struggling with. They've got to mature a little bit, and as they do so, they will continue to improve. 3-8, their overall record, but they're battling a 6-game losing streak as well. They need some help on that side to shake off some of the bad juju in terms of wins and losses. Williams needs themselves a big victory. Now let's move to the boys conference standings. I told you we had some shakeups, some movement there. You can see it. Southeast Alamance still sits at the top all by themselves, 5-0 in conference play. Both girls and boys teams have yet to lose a conference game. 11-3 overall on the year for the Stallions. Eastern Alamance sitting all by themselves in second place, 4-1 on the season in conference play as they get a big win over the Bulldogs. 10-2 on the year. A potential thing to keep an eye on is that one conference loss, a slip up, if you will, to the Person Rockets at home for the Eagles. That could be something to keep an eye on as the schedule continues to unfold. They're in third place. Western Alamance, they're tied with Williams, both of them at 3-2, but Western coming off of a victory. Williams battling back-to-back losses. That's why Western gets the nod at third place in the conference. In fifth, you see Person at 2-2 in the conference, 8-6 overall on the year. So the top 5 teams, 4 of the top 5 teams in the conference are above 500 overall on the season. Western at 5-6 is the only team not above 500. In sixth place, you see Southern Alamance, 1-4 in conference play, 4-8 overall on the year. The Red Devils of Graham right behind them, also 1-4 on the year, 5-8 in conference play. Both of those teams in the midst of losing streaks as well. Two straight for Southern, 3 straight for the Red Devils. And then there in eighth place, you see Cummings. The Cavaliers have not won a conference game yet, 0-4. They're just 2-8 on the regular season. They're also in the midst of a 2-game losing streak. But there you have it. That's how both sides of the men's and women's conference here in Alamance County sits. The Mid-Carolina 4A, 5A, 6A conference. That's your Tuesday night midweek wrap-up. That's your recap. Now you know. Now you can be informed, going to the water cooler, taking the talks to the office. As always, I'm Vance Ballard. Thanks for watching WBAG Sports. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Hit the like, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about what's going on here in Alamance County. Thanks for watching WBAG Sports.